Hey everybody, I'm Tatsudoshi.
I'm Gordon Byrne.
And this is the last of November's Your Choice reviews. This one was from @Doc Sigma, of the famous Doc Sigma Circus, or something, I don't know. But he requested an older movie that was based off of a French novel called The 120 Days of Sodomy. Now I don't know why he picked this.
Doc, I don't know a lot of
Doc,
things.
why?
There's a lot of things I don't know what Doc thinks or
I need a giant question mark right there, just like right.
That is Doc Sigma. It's like Doc Sigma, giant question mark.
Doc Sigma's like the Riddler.
But
you never really, but
more evil.
but he's like the Riddler and Joker combined. Some sort of maniacal puzzle master who does things just for shits and giggles. Here's a giant puzzle. It has no there's no way you could possibly solve it because there is no solution. Have fun. It's also a bomb.
Right. But yeah, he gave us this movie. It's like, all right, yeah, here, 120 Days of Sodomy.
Here's 120 Days of Sodomy. Here you go. Have it. Have fun. It should be a delicious romp through Italy.
Right, and we're like, is it a good movie? And he just laughs. And
he didn't say anything.
Goes in the shadows.
Dude, he didn't say anything. I asked him if it was a good movie, and he said, well, the novel was based on it. It's a timeless classic. Which basically...
timeless classic.
Which begs to question, what was France thinking when they wrote this? But 120 Days of Sodomy is not for children. So if you came here and stumbled upon our Toy Story 3 review, you should go back and watch that instead. Again, instead of watching this, because we're going to talk about things that you don't want to hear.
More, this is for adults and not for adults, and really, really creepy adults, the ones that are weird and smell bad. Okay.
Smell bad, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, apparently. Okay. Hi. So those of you that remain, this movie is about 8 men and 8 women. I'm sorry, 9 men and 9 women.
More like boys and girls, but.
You got a nitpick?
What, this movie?
Okay, so 9...
It tells you everything.
9 teenage boys and 9 teenage girls get kidnapped by... Well, listen... Well, a pope, a judge, the president, and a businessman all walk into a giant building and say, hey, how many people do you think we could sodomize in here? And they estimated about 18. Well, they got about 16 of them. Yeah, they got about 16 of them because 2 of them decide to just, like, fucking bolt and they shoot them to death.
Right, because they also got, like, a army of boy brigades that have guns.
They have about at least 4 heavily armed guys. I mean, they got, like, fucking AK-47s and shit like that. And they don't even hesitate to just fucking unload.
Alright, so, people, of course, are like, I don't want to be kidnapped, and bad shit's gonna happen. So they tried to book it, and they got shot.
Yeah,
and they were the lucky ones.
Yeah, they were the lucky ones. Because the people who didn't die, with guns easily, what happened is they get taken to this place.
It's a magical place.
It's a little place somewhere on the edge of Italy, I imagine, where there is no government. So they're like, there is no government here, so we are your lord and masters, and you will listen to everything we say. You will be in the orgy room, and we'll listen to horrible stories from old women, and then we will fuck you in your ass. Close the book. That's the fucking rules.
Right. Anybody that does not follow the rules will be tormented and die.
Yeah, they'll die.
So, and then the sodomy begins.
Literally, the thing is they really don't show that much in this movie.
Thank God.
They don't show a lot in this movie, but what they do show is a lot of dongs. There is a lot of dongs in this movie. There's
a lot of numbers.
There's lots of naked ladies and lots of naked men. So,
and lots of hair.
These are unshaved Italians. So, hair everywhere. Fucking nasty. It's gross. This movie is all sorts of gross.
Yeah, you basically got that. That's what you see right there. If you just get that. You get all the hair, and then you got whatever that is.
I think that was the grossest thing I have ever seen. You do ever. Looks like this. Fucking
Wanna touch it?
Touch it.
Alright, so
But
we
people,
did have a little fun with this movie.
we fucking Mystery Science 3000, Mystery Science Theater 3000 this movie so we could get through it with smiles on our faces. Because if we sat there and we took this movie seriously, we would have came out really fucking depressed. Because this movie is sad as all balls.
Right.
It is a very depressing movie.
I mean,
I know we're giggling.
We're not going to go a lot of details because you guys don't want a lot of details. We don't want to bring you.
No, there's some things we'll talk about, but the overall thing is, unless you're crazy and
bad shit, this basically bad shit.
Unless you think you're Gaston from Beauty and the Beast and you're Macho Man Randy Savage enough to handle this movie, well, sorry, bad dudes versus ninja. Well, I'm sorry, no one is powerful enough to suffer this movie and still be sane without trying to crack a few jokes through it.
Good thing me and Tats are always kind of.
We're always a little fucked up in the head, so we survived, but just barely. Overall, this movie was a resounding depression.
And then it escalated throughout the whole damn thing too.
I mean, the thing is, it starts off with these people getting kidnapped.
Just kidnapped. It's like, yeah, we got guns, and we're just going to take you in the car and kidnap you.
It's like, that's it. It's like, we're
not really story or anything. We're going to
get in the fucking car.
Right. And there's basically four guys in power, like, yeah, we're going to trade daughters. They all had daughters. Like, we're going to trade daughters, and you're going to do things to them so that our empire will last forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
So then they go to their creepy little mansion, and they have their, basically, vacation of sadism.
Their 120 days of sodomy.
Right, sodomy and grossness. So it starts off tame-ish a little bit.
It starts off... Yeah, tame-ish is probably
tame-ish, I guess. For this kind of movie, tame-ish at first. But by having really gross ladies tell erotic stories that are gross.
There are supposed to be 4 storytellers. We only get to hear stories from 3 of them. One of them talks about pee, the other one talks about duty, and the last one talks about death. So that should bring you into the world of this movie. Seriously, the first
and those are basically the 3 chapters of this movie.
Yeah, there's like...
There's the pee chapter, the poopy chapter, and then the death chapter.
Death chapter is disturbing. And there's one thing I do have to say before we actually, start getting in on the finer details of this movie. At one point, and this is... If you have a weak stomach, please plug your ears now! At one point, they have all the women hold in their poo.
Because one of the storytellers, the poo one, started talking about poo stories, and the guy's like, I find this interesting. We need to change our rules so that all the women have to hold in their poos and poo in a bowl. So
they hold their poos for an entire day, and then they all poo together on this giant platter. And that's dinner! Hope you like giant blood sausages from Uranus, because that's what dinner... But the best part of it is you can tell that they use, like, pudding and cake and, like, blood...
They look good, actually.
The thing is... that you can tell, like, literally, you could tell that they use, like, pudding and cake to make some of the stuff that they were eating. And they also use, like, for the actual poo, they use, like, blood sausage. Which, if you're a fan of blood sausage, all blood sausages is blood and, like, vegetables and shit anyway. So it's, like, whatever. It's nothing terrifying. It's nothing poo, but for all intents and purposes, it actually made some realistic poo scenes in this movie. And you know what? I can totally tell why Doc Sigma chose this movie, because we've said poo like 40 times.
Because, like, here's some poo in your face.
Poo, poo, poo!
And there's that, and there's basically that, and there's this crazy, like, mixing. And besides for the chapter of poo, the chapter of pee, and the chapter of death, there's also these crazy things that just don't get explained. Like, random Italian jokes. And,
look, I told you this before. Okay, no, I explained this to him at the very beginning of the movie. This is an Italian movie with an Italian subtitles and Italian ways of speaking and everything like that. And my grandmother is a full-blooded Italian. And she told me an Italian joke, and I didn't understand it, and she goes, Italian jokes aren't meant to be funny. Okay? she is a pure-blooded Italian, and she doesn't get fucking Italian jokes. So I told Corin at the beginning of this movie, it's like, Italian jokes aren't funny, and you can't get them. Just ignore it. Just don't try.
So I had to ignore it.
So he did try to ignore it, but then at some point, some of these jokes, he's just like, fucking what?
Right. And you can tell from this, I mean, at first it's gross, and but then they try to get inventive with how gross and tormented they can get, like make them walk around like dogs, and naked, of course, and cross-dressing, and they had a lot of weddings too. For some
there was
reason.
like fucking 19 weddings in this movie.
They love the weddings.
And the four main sodomizers, the four main dudes, like the Pope, the hot rod biker, the Navy captain, and the Indian.
Well, as we, we had like Gerard Butler as well.
Oh yeah, Gerard Butler, some guy who totally reminded me of Nether's dad, some guy who we called not Nether's dad, and then the crazy guy.
Right.
I don't think we really could come up with the nicknames for the last two, but of them all, Nether's, quote-unquote Nether's dad, not actually Nether's dad, because if he was actually in this movie, then he'd be far older than he actually is. But, the Nether's dad in this movie, he's the guy who cracks all the jokes. And he's fucking cross-eyed, he's got like this goofy fucking, Grinch smile, and he... Like, at one point during dinner, he just gets up, shows his ass to everybody, and then he gets fucked. Nether's dad? Why?
Right. Yeah, so it's, like I said, and these guys, the four guys are just batshit crazy. They look like, they don't have that sort of, except for Nether's dad, of course. But all of them have that this sort of sophisticated, like, hey, they have suits and they look like normal people in society. But they're just totally batshit, sadist, crazy.
At one point, all four of them I'm sorry. Three of them cross-dress, which is Gerard Butler, not Nether's dad, and Nether's dad, all cross-dress, while Psycho Dude is dressed as like some sort of mirror priest with like fucking deer heads on his shoulders, and he's like, hey, we're gonna have a wedding and you're gonna marry these guys. You guys are gonna marry the guys in drag, and then you can have crazy sodomy sex, but everybody needs to be clapping and laughing at this. And why aren't you clapping? And everybody got really pissed and nobody was laughing and having a good time. So the two crazy bitches, two of the crazy bitches who are the storytellers who tell the stories about the pee and the poo and the blood, they go out in the center and they start cracking like crazy Italian jokes. And Corin's looking at me, Corin literally looking at me for like guidance. He's like, I don't know what to do here. I'm
like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Dude, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. So when he looked at me for some, like, moral support, I'm like, I don't know.
But, it's just not much more, because, like I said, we should not talk that much about it, where it probably already grossed you out enough, but, like I said, this is supposed to be, this is a mature one, you little ones are supposed to be not watching this.
If you're a young kid, then wow, you just, why don't you just...
Sorry we mentally punched you in the face, but we did. You deserved it.
You stuck around. You could have watched the Toy Story thing, but you didn't, and now you're here. But, that was the warning in the beginning. I mean, we told him. But I really want to talk about the ending of this movie. Because,
it's kind of weird.
Let me say this. This movie isn't actually bad at all. It's actually quite interesting. But, for the love of God, don't watch it. I mean, what did you think? Overall, was it interesting?
Yes, it was interesting, but it was just basically a movie for a very deranged. For people,
it's a snuff film, right? It's a snuff film.
This movie is for deranged people, basically. If you're not weird or deranged, or you're not really that functional in society, then yeah, this movie's for you. Go ahead.
You'll think it's the best movie ever. If you're just someone who likes getting their shits and giggles in about. Dongs and crazy Italian jokes, well, this movie is also for you. Or if you're just slightly off kilter like us, then you'll end up watching.
But we wouldn't watch it.
No, if I had never seen this movie and someone told me about it and they said I should watch it, and Doc didn't request it being done, I would have never fucking watched this movie.
Mm-hmm. So for all the rest of society, do not watch this movie, please.
But if you absolutely must, it's not a bad film. Just don't watch it with anyone you care about.
Right.
You know, it's don't invite.
Don't drag anybody.
Don't drag anybody fucking into this. It's like, no. Let me put it this way: if you want to have a party for all the people you fucking hate, this or Pink Flamingos, man. Fucking this or Pink Flamingos.
Right, yeah, but that's basically it. And like
I do want to talk about the ending.
Okay,
I really do want to talk about
the ending.
The end of this movie really does solidify the depression of it all. It really is a very sad movie in and of itself. These people were taken from their homes, and some
family,
of their family and friends and everything. Some of their parents were killed in the stealing of them in and of themselves. And the end of the movie actually deals with the stories of. One storyteller woman starts talking about how she knew a man who would take 8 or 9 girls ages 15 to 17 and put them in traps and just watch them die. One girl was like strapped into a chair, and then there was a pendulum blade that was above her, and they just like chopped off her head. And one woman had, for all you women out there, you might want to really plug your fucking ears on this one, a live rat sewn in her vagina, which I don't think I'll ever fucking get that mental image out of my brain. I needed to share that so I can get it.
Did you?
I needed to share it so I could get it out of my head a little bit.
No, you didn't. But you did.
The end of it is the 4 main guys taking turns watching as the other 3 guys do their own death torture on the remaining 16 people that they brought into this like mansion, and it's just some really fucked up shit where it's like one guy's getting like ass raped, and then immediately after that they fucking like cut out his eyeball. And then one girl's getting, like, abused, and then, like, 2 seconds later, they just fucking hang her. It's really fucking depressing. I mean, this is one of those, it's like, maybe, you're kind of hoping that American gung-ho movie will kick in at some point, and fucking real Gerard Butler will come in and kick fake Gerard Butler, or Italian Gerard Butler to the ground, and go, shut the fuck up, bitch, and then just go pow pow and fucking save everybody. But nothing happens. It's just torture. The entire movie is horrifying fucking torture. The overlaying plot of it is, I can see why Doc told us that it was based off of a book, and the book is actually, it is, believe it or not, a timeless classic for French people.
Freaking French people.
But it's not a bad movie, but nothing I would say go out and see. However, I'd still rank it higher than Twilight.
That's it for that. Let's wrap it up. One of the soldier boys goes, "You know the dance?" "No, I don't." "Well, come on, let's try it." "Okay." And two of the soldier guys are dancing. It's like, so what was your girlfriend's name again? Something Italian. Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Literally, that's the end. Two of the soldier guys who work for the 4 main dudes say, "Hey, you know how to dance?" "No." "Let's try." They dance. One asks the other, "What's his girlfriend's name?" He says Margaret. And they goes, "Okay." And they continue dancing. And then it goes, "Fine." That's it. Fucking over. And Korn's sitting there and he's like, "Where's the fucking cameras?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
What happened?
Am I?
That's the end.
That's it.
Did you cut it? Did you?
He at first I think he looked at me like, "Did you stop it? What'd you fucking stop it for? We're already at the fucking end of this movie. Why don't we just finish it?" But it's like, no, dude, that's it. It's over.
Yeah. So very depressing, very gross, very not for children or even for normal adults.
If you're a functioning member of society, don't watch this movie. And if you must watch this movie, please, for the love of God, don't drag anyone else into it.
Right.
The only reason we watched it is because we had to. So, I still rank it higher than Twilight. Until next time, I'm Tatsudoshi.
I'm Gordon Berwin.
And, still better than Twilight.
That rad, dude. What the hell? Fucking ugh.
Oh yeah, the Twilight guy was in this movie. He got raped. It was funny. He looked like the Twilight guy too. That guy was fucking hilarious. And then he got dressed in drag. And then he got raped again.
And then he got his nipples burned off.
And then he got his nipples burned off. Glitter now, Twilight boy.